Well, hi, Kendra. Welcome to the VFAB podcast. I'm so excited to have you here.
It's great to be here.
So before we get started, can you introduce yourself to our listeners and tell us a little about your family life as a military wife and mom?
Sure. So my name is Kendra Chambers. I am a mom of two and military spouse. I've lived here for about a year and hopefully plan to live here for the next 6 years ish.
How do you like Trump?
I love it. Small town's where I grew up, so that's where I'm comfortable.
Yeah, I've been here my whole life. I met Kendra, about a year ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've hit it off since. And now you're part of the nonprofit, VFAB.
It's great to be a part of.
It is fun. We have a lot of fun. And you were with us at our camp, and how did you like that? I didn't get a lot of feedback
Oh,
from.
really?
Yeah,
For me, camp was like everything.
yeah,
Everything I want to be a part of, being able to see children become exactly who they want to be in that moment and not having to reprimand for behaviors that I feel like in school systems, it's often seen as like negative.
yes,
We were able just to embrace that. I mean, I had children that wanted to scream, so I screamed with them and they were like, this is the coolest. Like, we can
right.
be friends now.
They got that sensory
Yeah.
input.
Or if they wanted to run around, then I would chase them. Or if they wanted to walk, we would walk. Like, it was just great to be able to support them and exactly who they are and the way they wanted to be, which is everything I hope for.
You did phenomenal during that, and I didn't get to spend like a whole lot of time with you during that, but you did so great with all the kids with, um, following our plans, and if things were going a little hiatus, you were able to
So I
fix it, get them
appreciate
to where
that.
they wanted and help them with accommodations and their needs. And you did so well. I'm so glad to have you with us. And hopefully we'll find a position for you on the board. But I know you're also going to stay with us as a volunteer as well.
Whatever I can do to help.
Yeah, so we're excited. So I'm going to get into the questions. Um, so what inspired you to start sharing your story?
Um, I guess it's simple. When I see a child, struggling, and I'm like, I remember those moments. I remember struggling with that myself as I was growing up, and I had a lot of support, and that was really important. And not all these children do have that support, and even the ones that do, as we grow up and as we get older, it's like all of a sudden it's not talked about. All of a sudden you go from a child with disabilities or a child in the system to just another adult, which is an amazing, but you kind of forget that you still have those struggles and that you still need that support. And you have to start advocating for yourself.
Yes.
And I fell short in that. And I don't want another child to do the same.
Yeah, that's a great point because I feel like I I've met a few adults now getting into this, but I didn't realize that I knew somebody with you knowing you that you had struggles in school. What would you say to your younger self if you could talk to her now?
Keep your head up and don't quit. Like, just because someone tells you that you don't matter or you can't handle it, don't let those words fuel you later.
Yeah.
For me, I had a lot of negative, but I also had a lot of positive. And when I started to go to college for myself and I started working on my own and different things, I kind of forgot that side. And I started hearing all the negative. And I allowed that to fuel me and I quit. Like, I quit college because it was hard. And I fell into the I'm just an adult living in this world. And I hid a lot of that from the world and from myself. And when you do that, you lose a piece of yourself.
Yeah. That's me. Yeah. You're gonna get me emotional,
Sorry.
Kendra. No, I'm so glad to have you here expressing that because like that is so important because I can't imagine being in that setting and feeling like you're not like good enough because you are good enough and you're starting college or you said you started and now you're starting again. So
Yeah.
what has given you back that fire that you're like, I can do this?
Well, I've given up a lot of things, right? Partly because I was a military spouse and we were overseas for 5 years. And it was just one thing after another. It was always, okay, well, because we're in Guam, I'm going to put a step back and I'm not going to do school. And then it was, well, I'm having my first child. I don't have time for school. And it's just always been something. And then we had a typhoon when we were in Guam, and then I ended up back in the States for a year, and we were moving again. So it was like, oh no, I'm going to put myself back on hold. And so when we came here, we decided that it was my turn. It's my turn to go to college. It was my turn to do things that I want to do for myself. And I've just kind of had to kick myself into gear and do it.
No, you're doing great. I'm so excited for you and everything um, you're doing and working towards, and also helping children that felt or feel exactly like you did as a child. Um, so living with dyslexia and having those learning challenges, when did you first realize you had dyslexia and other learning and impairments?
I think I was about, well, I knew from an early age I was different. Like I didn't fit into the crowd. I didn't like everyone else would be able to sit still and I could not. Um, and dyslexia, I believe, diagnosed in about first grade.
So, living with dyslexia and learning challenges, when did you first realize you had dyslexia and other learning impairments?
So a young age, I knew that I was different. I want to say, honestly, even in preschool, I felt like I didn't fit into the crowd. Um, we would be reading stories and I couldn't sit still. I'd be fidgeting the entire time. And it was around first grade that I was actually tested and told that I had dyslexia, along with a few other disabilities. I wasn't told that I had ADHD until I was in like third grade. Um, but I can tell now that I definitely had those signs super early on. There was a time in about first grade where my teacher had pulled me aside. I was also left handed. And she said, "You're making it up. You need to stop. You need to behave." And I was like, I can't. And she's like, "You should be able to read. You should be able to do this. You need to stop messing around and just focus." Well, I think about a week later, and I kind of remember bits and pieces, obviously, because I was really young, being tested. And so I know something happened. And because all of a sudden I came back to school that week and she pulled me aside and she gave me these special left handed scissors because I couldn't cut paper like all the other kids. There was no way. Um, I couldn't hold things correctly. I didn't uh, know how to, I didn't hold a utensil correctly. I didn't hold a pencil correctly. And letters were all over the place for me. It wasn't in one spot. They didn't look like A's and B's, whatever the case might be at that
Yeah.
time. And she said, "Okay, well, maybe you're not making it up, but uh, you could at least sit still." And I remember, like,
And how old were you?
I think I was like 5 or 6.
How what I will never understand is how adults have an expectation for a child who has been on this earth for 5 to 6, even 3, 2, 1 years to listen to those demands,
Yeah.
even without special accommodations or support needs. Like, is that wild to you as a mother now?
Yeah. I mean, if someone had said that to my child and I knew about it, I would be very upset. I mean,
Same. Are we just a different
I
generation?
hope so.
I think
I
so,
really hope
honestly.
that things have changed. But I hear stories a lot like mine sometimes, and that's what fuels me to want to help other mothers.
And to be an advocate as well, which
Mhm.
you talked about. You want to start advocating. We're going to have some trainings with Stephanie Wynn. She's working on that currently.
I'm very excited.
I'm very excited as well. Um, wow, what a powerful but sad journey that it's taken you to get here between school and
I mean, there's a lot of sad, but
struggles.
there's a lot of joy.
Yeah,
Like, I've had a lot of people tell me, you can do this. My mom fought for me from a very young age. She actually got an advocate involved when the school would not help me, and if that would have never happened, I would never be able to read. So, and that didn't happen until third grade. So sometimes it's just about pushing and how you make things happen.
advocates matter 100%.
Mhm.
And I, as now a mom with children with special needs, I did not think it was going to be this hard. I really was like dumbfounded when I went into my first meeting that I was like speaking on behalf of my son, and it was almost like they had to defend themselves. And I'm like, this is about my child, the one I birthed and I've had at home and I'm struggling with him. We're having everything. Why are you trying to defend the school against what I want, which is simple accommodations that it's just wild to me. It just is really,
Yeah.
it's really nuts. And that part I can't get over when I go now into meetings and when I go now into meetings and that's like we have to have a defense period. We're all here trying to
Mhm.
just make things better for this child and we're here like having to fight. Why? It doesn't make sense to me. Um so how have those challenges with dyslexia and your learning impairments shaped your journey as an adult?
Um, well, there's little quirks, and if you don't know me, you wouldn't even notice them. And if you didn't know I had a disability, you probably would never ask. But for instance, when I drive, I always have a GPS on. Whether I know where I'm going or not, I always have my
Just for
GPS
comfort.
on. I do not want to get lost, even going to my own house. And that's like super silly. That's just like a little thing that like protects me from myself, basically.
Mhm.
Um, I still, when I sit down in a room, I still do the L and L to remember which side of the room is my left, which side of the room is my right. Just like little quirks that you like wouldn't know. Or I'm always tapping my toes.
Things
Like
that come easy for other adults
yeah,
probably, so no, I think that's cute. I love it because that's you, you know, accommodating for yourself again and advocating for yourself
yep.
and like you talked about that too is like you want to help kids grow up to advocate for themselves.
I think it's not talked about. Like I think when you see a child with a disability or uh, needing a little extra accommodations, which I think we all do in some way or another, right? There's
100%.
things we're good at and there's things we're not. I feel like it's easier to advocate for a small child than it is for another adult because you're like, you
Mhm.
should be able to talk for yourself. You should be able to do the things that everyone does. And when you have dyslexia or ADHD or whatever the diagnosis is, or even if you're not diagnosed, um, you you get like kind of left behind. And when you don't advocate for yourself, then things don't move forward for you. And when we forget that from child to adult, then those children get left in those years and they forget a piece of themselves.
Yeah.
Because often, like for me personally, I didn't want to remember that I had disabilities. I just wanted to be another face in the crowd. I don't usually speak out. I don't like being seen. I just want to be a face, right? And so coming out has been really important for me, for myself, for my own growth, and to show other kids that you can still be all those things. You can still be dyslexic. You can still be ADHD or whatever the label might be. But you're also you.
Yep.
You're also still the fun one in the room, the funny one. You're still all those positive and uplifting labels that you want to put on yourself, along with I don't even want to say that it's a negative label,
No,
just a different one.
just different. Yeah, exactly. And I don't like that it's taboo and that adults have trouble speaking out. But through this journey, I've actually, like I said, met a few adults, and I feel like people are starting to feel like they can be seen and be
Mm,
who they are with us, and I love that because I would have never have guessed all of your struggles when we talked about you coming to help me with my kids. And that just goes to show like never not like never judge a book by its cover. You there's so many things that you've gone through and if anyone could ever like walk through your shoes I think they would they would think differently about
mm,
children and adults with those struggles. I really do. I wish we could do that. I wish we could when I'm sitting there arguing with someone who has no idea what this child is going through, I wish you could just walk in their shoes.
mhm.
See it through their lens for a day and everything that's challenging for them because they're not just a behavior.
Exactly. It's been nice for me to be on both sides. So when I lived in Guam, I also worked at a daycare. I remember this one specific child, came in. I remember all the teachers were like, I just don't know what's going on. They can't sit still. When we're doing our ABCs, they're playing with their fingers. And I'm like, have you asked them? Have you
Mhm.
asked them what they're doing? And I remember him telling me, he didn't have a whole lot of words at the time. I remember him saying A, B, C, and like showing me his fingers. And I was like, he's counting the letters.
Oh,
He's counting the letters. And I remember our very first meeting with the parents, and as the teacher, they allowed me in the classroom. And that was one of them. I mean, I've had a few different experiences advocating, but it was like the first time I was on the other side, right?
of it, yeah.
And I was like, no, this is for this child. This child needs help. Like, let's get this child the accommodations that they need because obviously they're trying. Like, they know that ABCs are numbered somehow, right? That's not how our brains work. Like, we wouldn't put a number to each letter. But how incredible, like,
It is
to
incredible.
be able to do that.
I have heard of kids being able to see those types of things when their brains works differently. My friend's child, she believes he can see music
Mm,
because he gets this weird like vibe when it's going like and he's looking around and she thinks he can see the music and I'm like, well, who says he can't? I'm like, that's really cool.
that's super cool.
So maybe when he was doing his letters, he could see like exactly in his brain that there's what 26 letters in the
Hmm.
alphabet and he was given a hard time because he thought differently and I think we need to get away from that so
Yeah.
much. I think this is part of evolution.
Hmm.
I think where brains are growing, forming differently because of the needs of the world. I mean, and who's to say it's not? That's kind of like my friend's philosophy is that she believes autism and all that is a part of evolution. And I
Yeah.
think it's cool to think of that way because why not? Why do I want to think of something that's so hard that, that it's bad or something? Like I want to look at the good.
Diving into their world is just it's just everything. Like
It
you
is.
when you jump into a child's world, no matter with a label or without, every child sees the world a unique and beautiful way.
Yeah,
And if we did that as adults and we jumped into someone else's world, how much better of people we would be.
so much better.
So,
We would be so much better people, honestly. That's why I love people. I love hearing about their jobs. I love hearing their stories. This is why I'm here. I love everything. I love when I hear about a new job or like something that I never thought even existed.
mhm.
And I'm just like get so invested in it. Like, and even when I was a CNA, I loved being able to see pictures and go through albums with my patients because I loved having that personal connection.
Mhm.
How has being a mom influenced the way you look at your own challenges?
Well, when I look at my child, they're perfect. Every aspect of them is perfect. There's not a negative. Even when my daughter acts out, or my son has a teething fit, or whatever the case might be, I see all the positives,
Yeah,
and I'm like, and I want my children to grow up seeing those positives in themselves, and knowing that even the things that they try and hide to me are beautiful, right? And if I want them to view themselves in such a way, I have to first view myself that way. And so it's made my challenges come to surface, and it's made me not want to work through them, but work with them. And that's been a big mind change for me.
I love that. That's very true because we taking things and making them look or being negative has such an impact on children. And
So being overseas, I there was a lot of positives and there was a lot of negatives. And being a military spouse in general is positives and negatives, right? I made some of the best friendships that I've ever had in my life. We talk daily. We still root each other on wherever we are.
your
Uh,
friends or your husband?
my
Oh,
friends,
I love that.
yeah, because something that you have to do as a military spouse is be alone, right? And being alone in a strange place such as Guam, I had no friends. I had no family when I first got there, and my husband left.
How do you stay motivated when life gets overwhelming?
Just keep going. Honestly, I mean, there's days where, like this week is my first week of college, and it felt like a lot. Like trying to navigate the system. I'm not good with technology at all. Like I
Same.
fail on the daily.
I'm learning.
It's not my strong suit. And so I had a lot of nerves about that. And I just reached out to those who helped me. I reached out to um, a friend and to the person that I have helping me, Jamie
Yeah,
from
we're going to
you.
talk about Jamie.
And so I reached out to her and I said, okay, what do you do in this circumstance? Or she's really great. I can call her, late in the evening and she'll talk me through it, or we can get on FaceTime and look at what's going on. And I just learned to take a breath, talk to people that I need in my personal struggles, and push forward. And it's okay to admit that you're struggling. Like, I feel like a lot of times in this day and age, when we admit we're struggling, we're like, "Oh, this person's so negative. Like, that's so negative." But struggles are negative.
Yeah,
What's positive is moving through it.
exactly.
And I mean, I turned in several papers yesterday. I did a bunch of homework that normally
Yay.
I would have just given up. I would have been so overwhelmed I would have quit, but I didn't allow myself to.
And you're getting accommodations, right?
I am. Yes.
Yay. Accommodations, guys, go into college. So don't just think that it's for when you graduate high school, there's no more accommodations. No, college is the real world, but they do have accommodations for people with needs,
Hmm.
support needs. So that's incredible. And congrats to you on pushing to get to your goal. What do you want to become?
Um, I have a lot, right? I
Yeah.
have a lot that I'm hoping for. And starting out, I'm currently going to school for early childhood. And I'm hoping through that, I can advocate for children. I can teach in a classroom where all abilities matter and they can be
Oh.
completely and totally themselves. And those are just a few
And you
of the
can
beginning goals.
maybe open up your own private school to
I hope
where
so.
you're not following
Anything.
anything. Well, you could follow, what you want for your school to be, which would be really cool.
I hope so, yeah.
So tell us about your dreams of writing children's books, or have you already started one?
I actually have several children's books that I wrote.
Wow.
So writing has always obviously been a crutch of mine. It's been hard and it's been the best. So growing up, uh, my writing I've learned was basically a secret language, right? My handwriting's so terrible. No one no one could read it. And
Oh.
so I could write whatever I wanted. I could say whatever I wanted to say and no one knew unless I told them what was on the paper. And uh for years I didn't even know I had a gift until someone had told me, "Wow, that's incredible. That's what you wrote?" Um, and I want to say my first children's book or like little story was written in about actually sixth or seventh grade.
Wow.
Yeah, we were writing stories. We were supposed to write stories in our class, in our English class, and we went and read them to kindergartners. And I just remember all their faces like lighting up as I explained this story and how much it mattered to me. And so I actually have about six stories written, and eventually I hope to find someone that will help me publish them the way that I want them to be published.
Well, hey, any publishers out there, please speak to Kendra because she is incredible. I actually read one of your poems, which I I want to see if because I know we don't have a ton of time today because we've been having some technical issues. But if you could maybe voice record you reading that poem
Sure.
because it's absolutely beautiful and you're amazing and you're exactly right. Your writing is amazing.
Well,
Like I
thank you.
just can't I can't talk I can't talk enough about it. Um why is finishing college so important to you?
Because something I'm doing for myself. I don't technically have to go to college. I mean, I could find ways, as I have my whole life, to do the things that I want to do. I have worked in the classroom. I have worked with children with special needs. Um, I have been that support for parents without a degree. But this is something for the first time I'm doing for myself.
Yay. I love that. Moms do not do enough for themselves. Wives do not do enough for themselves. And congrats to you. Because I know when I brought this up to Steve, I'm like, for 5 years, it's been all about you promoting, going to Walmart, travel, travel. Like, this is for me,
Mhm.
and nothing's going to stop me. And I'm sure that's how you kind of
I
feel.
feel I feel like often, like as wives, as mothers, we're like, oh, we need a day to ourselves.
Yeah.
We need this to ourselves. We need to go do our nails or, whatever it might be to make you feel like you.
Yeah.
And something I've realized just in the last few years of being a mom is it's not always about the massage or the doing your nails. It's about doing the hard things. It's about if you need the therapy, go get the therapy.
100%.
It's if you want to
I
do
need some
something,
of that.
right, don't we all?
Well, I'm not kidding, but I mean,
sometimes talking to your friend is therapy.
It is. It is very much. I feel like I will hoard on to the adults in my house because I'm like, I need to talk to you.
Don't we all?
Creating my own community because I needed one.
It's true though.
It is.
And that's
so
what
true.
we got to do. We got to find our people.
Our people. And I have never felt so myself since doing this and being around you and being around the other nonprofit and being around Danielle and like everybody has just made me feel so much better because as a mom, you can go down a very dark mental
You can. Absolutely.
health journey. Yeah. So definitely doing something for yourself is needed.
And sometimes it's the hard things you got to do.
And it's hard. I get people that like probably make fun of me and what I'm doing, but what I consider those people is, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing to try to change something? Yeah. Nothing. So you can't talk about me if you're not doing something.
No, you can talk about me. I talk about me.
Well, yeah, you can talk about me. I mean, like I hate myself more than you probably hate me, but
exactly.
But you know what I'm saying. Be like, you can't judge people for trying. For trying to make a difference. So, what kind of programs do you want to see for kids with disability support needs out here?
I have so many things that I'm hoping for. One is I want to somehow help other parents to be able to afford the luxuries that I've had. I want to be able to give parents the ability to hire someone to advocate for their child or to help them learn how to advocate for them and for those children to learn to advocate for themselves. It's something that's not talked about a lot until you need it.
Yep, until you're looking for someone to help you. I know Stephanie, I have talked about doing a sliding scale for her to where parents like would have to like prove that they're lower income and that she would assist them. Or they can hire or not hire me, but I will go be a parent advocate as well. I definitely haven't had all the training as Stephanie. She is worth every single penny. She is what I call the Willy Wonka elevator. She knows the laws this way, that way, this way, sideways, up, down, everywhere. And for me, I'm just straight up and down right now. I'm just straight. I can't wait to be that. But right now, I'm just a regular elevator.
Yeah, those are definitely some dreams of mine. I want to be up there.
I know. I want to be the Willy Wonka elevator.
Someday.
Yeah, someday I'll be the Willy Wonka elevator. So advocacy and your VFAB connection, which we talked a little about. How did you first get connected with us, which we talked about with you babysitting my kids? But now you're working with a close connection of mine, Jamie, who I met through Vegas, and she specializes in children with dyslexia, but also reading and writing impairments. Correct. So how's that been?
It's been amazing. And like we said, the very first step is standing up for yourself. And I can't even tell you how much I was like shaking just texting you, asking like, hey, do you happen to have a connection for this? Because I feel like I'm not going to be able to do this on my own. And I think it's okay to admit that you can't do it on your own. And I've been very lucky. And our very first phone conversation me and Jamie had, she was like, just talk to me and tell me what you need and we'll work it out. And honestly, sometimes that changes every day. Like sometimes I just need her to be like, you can do this. And sometimes I need her to explain things to me or help me through different concepts and notions. And that's all it's about. Sometimes.
She's incredible. And going back to when you first wrote me, I had started crying because I was like, I made someone feel that okay to talk to me, that someone that you were helping me with my kids, and I would never have known I made you feel that you could talk to me in that way and that what I was doing could help you as well. And it did. So I feel like I just want, like, I could just quit today because of you. I could just quit right now because I helped
That's how I
somebody.
felt. Like without Jamie, I don't know if I would have pushed myself. There's been multiple times just in the process of starting school that I wanted to quit, right? And I felt overwhelmed, and I've learned more of my struggles as I've helped with a nonprofit. Even at camp, I remember there was a mess up with the schedule, and I was just so overwhelmed. I could have been in tears because I just wanted
Yeah, I
these
remember
kids to
that.
be okay. Like I
I think that was Thursday. We're not going to talk about Thursday, Kendra.
That was a hard day. Okay.
Thursday was a hard day. And anybody with that on
Every single child had a great day.
they had
And
a great day. Yeah,
that's
they
all that mattered. But man, the schedule had me schedules are something
I know.
that I struggle with greatly.
And I didn't, and
Jamie ended up actually being there.
she was there that Thursday.
The schedule, and I was like, okay, I know you know me. I know you know my struggles. And I'm like, what am I doing? And that's where I learned that I'm still having number reversals.
Yeah.
And I myself, as an advocate and as a helper, and I was in charge of these 12 children.
Yeah, and you had David helping you with the schedules, right? And
right,
then
and then he was gone.
And then he was gone. I know.
So it was just me and the schedule and all these children.
And I
like,
wish you would have talked to me because I would have made sure
around.
you had somebody there. Because JP took my group that day, and it was just.
It worked out. It was fine. But I felt like I had all these little buddies in a row. Right?
Yeah,
they just wanted to go play, and we just kept kind of going back and forth till we figured it out.
Yeah, we got through the day. That's what was.
We figured it out, but realizing that I was having those issues, I didn't even know I was still reversing numbers at that point. And so that was something that I learned. And I think it's okay to say that even in our jobs, even in our careers, even in sometimes we feel like we should have it all together. It's okay to not.
Yeah.
It's okay to not have it all together. And I did ask some of the children, I said, "Are you okay wandering around? I got to see this room, and I've never seen this room before."
we were doing a lot of wandering that day.
They weren't upset. They were having a great day.
They were.
That was my only goal.
What do you think of the sensory room? Do you think that was much needed?
Much needed.
Much needed. It definitely was. That was cool.
Child. I feel like every child used a sensory room at some point.
Even the adults. I went in there one time. Like, yeah. I was like, I'm going in here. I'm taking a break.
Carrying like little like toys in my pockets for some of the kids.
I think that's definitely what we want to implement next year is having those sensory tools on the camp leads.
Yeah.
So that way they can just pull them out and help. And we have definitely a lot of goals for next year. What message do you want families of children with disabilities to hear directly from you?
That they matter and that it's okay. It's okay to admit that you're struggling. It's okay to admit that it's okay as a parent to admit that you don't understand what your child needs or what they're going through. And it's okay for that child to admit that they're struggling.
Yeah.
Even with my own child, sometimes I feel like I need to get into their world. I need to get in her world. I don't know what she's always going through. This is her first year of preschool. And I remember that first day of drop off.
Did you cry?
I did.
I cry every time.
I didn't think I would, but I totally did.
I cry every single year. I cry.
I kept it together until like I was leaving a parking lot.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, this is the first time I don't know her entire day. Like I don't know her entire world. And that's why I also believe it's so important for them to learn to advocate for themselves, even if it's just you. Like, even if it's just, hey, mom, I had a hard day. Or, hey, mom, this kid doesn't like me, and that's hard, you know? And so I hope that parents of children with disabilities know that it's okay. It's okay to struggle. It's okay to admit that you don't know. And I hope those kids learn that as parents, we're not perfect and we might fail them occasionally.
Yeah.
But we're trying.
Yeah, but we keep getting back up and pushing for them.
And that's what matters.
And that's what will matter to them. That's the moments they'll remember the most. And I know that's for me too, growing up. Like I remember hard moments, but I do remember most of the time when my parents were pushing to help me and push forward and stuff. So that's great. Looking back, what's one moment that made you realize your challenges could actually become your strength?
My writing, especially. I remember, I think I was in about third grade, and I had wrote a poem, and I don't even remember what it was. I know it was about Christmas, and it was like Christmas time, and it was about like laying under a Christmas tree or something. I don't remember word for word, but I decided to share it for the first time because like this is my secret language. This is what I write for myself. I don't share. No one can read it, so why did it matter?
Yeah.
And I remember a teacher often, instead of being a part of the class, they would let me sit at my desk and just write in my notebook. And I was asked at one point what I was writing, and I remember sharing it, and it was like a light bulb went off for them. It was like the first time they realized that I was more than this hot mess, right? Because I felt very much so in school, but I was just a hot mess. I didn't really fit. I didn't fit in the pieces. Oftentimes, I was leaving the room for special ed classes or whatever the case might be. And so, for the first time, they looked at me, and I remember the words that came out of their mouth, and they said, "Wow, can you share this to the class? I can't believe you wrote this." And I was like, just words. Like they don't mean anything. And for the first time I realized that my writing could mean something to someone else.
I love that. That's powerful. And that really is because I know when I, like I said, when I read your writing, I felt like, wow, like, I don't know, it was like when we had that connection between talking about what you go through and then you sending me that, I felt like, wow, this Kendra is like so much more than just watching my kids, or I want to get to know who you are. And that's awesome that a teacher recognized that too.
I often do hide behind the children.
You do. You really do. And you get down on yourself. And I'm like, Kendra, you're amazing. You're fun, intelligent, um, caring and loving and all these
Well, I
things about
appreciate
you.
that.
I'm like, but you talk down about yourself and it makes you feel like there was somebody in your life. We don't have to get into that, but that made you feel like you not good enough.
But sometimes that's just you.
That's
You
yeah,
know,
that can be just you
I feel like
too.
that's just the me side of me that I have to fight. And I feel like we all have those negatives and we
Yeah.
have to fight them. But yeah, I often say that if I'm at a party, you'll find me either with a dog or a child.
Well, hey, because adults are not always great to be around. I mean,
I just love the kids.
yeah,
It's just where I fit.
and you fit so great with them. So going into early childhood and all that, it's going to be so great for you and the
Even
kids you're going to
starting my
help.
first class, so poetry is a big thing for me. I love poetry and
Yes.
I love words, and my very first class, they played or the, like the book Brown Bear and like how to use it in a child light, and then they use poetry to like explain their points, and I was like, this is the class for me. I think
I
I
love
I
that.
think I finally picked like the right
The right
place.
place to be. You're like, everything else, I just want to stay here.
Yeah,
I don't want to deal with any
forget
other
all the
class.
extra
I
classes.
know. I don't need all the prereqs to get to where I'm going. Just want the poetry. It means you have a creative mind, which I love. I don't know if you've connected with Izzy on our board, but she writes poems daily.
Okay.
She has a poem. Um, I forget what the place it's called on. I can't remember it, but I'll send it to you. She writes some really great poems as well, and she also I think has connections in Vegas to like poetry places where they read, which
Oh,
would be kind
cool.
of cool to do. So what keeps you hopeful about the future?
The fact that there is a future, right?
I know we're lucky to be here.
Sometimes my day can be so overwhelming. At the end of the day, I'm like, I'm so glad there's a tomorrow. I'm so glad there's a tomorrow. And each day I have to push for tomorrow.
Yep. And you can always, I mean, I know like getting to tomorrow's great, but you can always, it's just a moment, in
Hmm.
the day, it's just a moment. We can start over anytime in the day.
This might be the military wife side of me, but I'm always like, I can do 6 months.
I
I can
love,
do 6 months. I can do a year. I can do a year of
yeah, that
anything.
must be military wife mentality. Do you use military time as well?
No.
No. Oh,
Well,
okay.
my husband does.
Does he?
Uh, Me with my disability, I often like mix everything up. So I
It looks
just
mixed up to me. I can't
it's
I
such a
can't
mess.
stand it. Like it's I can't under I 13 is like one
Sorry, all
o'clock.
the military wives out there,
I
but
know.
no,
No, we love all of our
I just
military wives.
pretend. I just pretend I can handle it. I just wash myself a little closer.
What's it like being in that part of military? Do you feel secluded in that way? I know we've talked about your
I
like
think it truly depends
disability.
on where you're at.
Okay.
Like overseas, I felt so supported as a military spouse. I mean, a lot of my friends were military spouses, and I had a base I could go to. There was like
Did you live
activities,
on
and
base?
no, I lived near a
Oh.
base, so
Oh, okay.
it was great because I felt like I was a part of two worlds. I worked off base. I worked at a daycare off base by this amazing owner, and it's where I found out I loved teaching. For the first time, I really loved teaching, and I was
I
good
love
at it.
that.
With all my struggles, I was good at it, and that was amazing to me.
Yeah.
Um, but I also had the support I needed as a military spouse, and when my husband was gone, I was able to have what I needed, or if something happened, like I was very pregnant and I broke down.
With your
My
baby girl.
tire, yeah. So I was
So where can listeners connect with you or follow you on your journey?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Do you
I
maybe
guess
you
that's
could
something I gotta figure out.
I know because I mean I think people would want to kind of follow you and because there's a lot of people who believe their kids are dyslexic but they don't know where to go or don't have the money to go and get a diagnosis that's outside of the school but the school doesn't diagnose for dyslexia and then they don't even want to diagnose other reading and writing impairments along with that that I'm finding. So maybe you could create like a Facebook kind of like a page, which would be kind of cool to share your journey.
I'll
And if you
think
need
about
help
it.
with that, well, yeah. If you don't want to, you don't have to. But
I mean, there's definitely a need, and I definitely want to start somewhere. And I want those parents to feel that they can reach out to me. Um, I don't know a whole lot, but I know enough to say that you're seen, that I believe you, and I'm happy to do what I can to help find those resources because they're definitely far and in between. Um, and I was raised in another state with a lot more resources for those disabilities. And
what state was that?
so I was diagnosed in Wyoming,
Okay.
and then I grew up in Illinois. So I already had my diagnosis before I moved to Illinois, and I was in sixth grade at that point. So I had already had a lot of help, a lot of understanding of where I was and my needs were. Um, and I feel like those early years really matter. And if you feel like your child is struggling to read or whatever the concept might be, I hope that you reach out at a young age. I hope that you start with them as soon as you notice.
Yeah.
And something that I have learned, and I actually didn't know, I mean, I knew I had fun classes, extra classes. Speech is really important, even for a child with dyslexia. I spoke at a really young age. I think I was like one saying full sentences.
Wow, that's incredible.
But I had a lot of reading disabilities, and um,
But you could understand the language, so
right,
that's probably why speaking.
right, and I definitely see language differently than other people, and it's not something that you can really explain. So
Because
I
you don't
would
know how we
say,
see it, right? But you
right.
just know yours is different.
I just know mine's very different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I even remember it. I think it was in like first grade. Um, they kept telling me I couldn't read, and I'm like, but I'm reading. Like I can't read out loud. I can't read to you, but I know what this is saying.
Yeah.
Um, and so I definitely would say speech is a very important first step.
Okay.
If you can't find if you can't get tested, you don't know where to get tested, or you're still working towards those things, or you're working with the school board to get a diagnosis or whatever the case might be, reach out to speech because I feel like speech helped me understand what other people were saying that I did
Yeah.
not.
That's great. I feel like speech does go hand in hand with a lot of things
Mm-hmm.
because I've worked with a lot of parents that are like, "Oh, my child's like about to graduate speech," and I'm like, well, where are we at with all the other academics? Because speech really is the building block for all of these things.
Well, and there's the auto processing side of things. The way that you're processing, seeing things, it's different. And
100%.
and I honestly believe everybody's view of words is different. And some are just more than others.
Yeah, I believe that too. I feel like Lane sees things differently than Keaton, and everyone's different, and we need to not think that everybody needs to think exactly like us. That's okay, and we can still be accommodating to our friends and our families with disabilities or support needs, or even just being different, being who they are. Just be a friend, just help. All those things. I don't know why it's so hard for people sometimes to accept people for exactly who they are, and people will claim that left and right, but then they're not. Then
There's a difference between actions and words.
100%. I believe that.
I don't have the actions yet to back up helping other parents, but I would like to. And you can always reach out to me. However, whether that be
I connect you to everybody
or whoever.
I connect you to everybody. But I think what really, when we were talking about you feeling like, well, people don't need to find me somewhere yet or whatever, you don't feel like established enough, but just, finding someone that's like them or like their child that they know is going through, like, that's a connection in itself, so I think you are very important, and I think you do matter, and that whatever way you want to show up on a platform would be great, even sharing your writing.
I think the very first thing I had said to you when you asked me to come on the podcast was, "I'm just a mom. I'm just a mom."
We're all moms first, right? But
Right.
we're so much more than that. We have a place. We have a place in this world to be, and
But even with my limited knowledge, I think something that's very important for people to know is that I will fight for your child, whatever platform that is, whatever you need. If it's just a conversation, shoulder to cry on, your child just needs a babysitter, because I will take on any child.
Any child, yeah. You're great. You were the first person to really give us, like, for me and my husband to like feel okay to go. Like, you didn't rush us. You didn't make us feel like there was like a time limit or like, and you were like, I got this with Lane. Even if, like, Maddie told me things were a little crazy, Mom. Kendra was just like, everything was so great. Your kids are wonderful always. And Maddie was like, it was crazy, Mom. Like, this is what Willow's
crazy is like,
you thrive on crazy, I think.
I thrive on crazy.
So,
Throw me in.
I know. I could just move you in here because I just adore you so much. And I just, I know you've really helped my family. I know you're going to help a lot more families. So is there a final message you'd like to give out before we're done for today?
Just be okay being you and letting your child be them.
I love that. Well, thank you so much, Kendra. I know you got to get home to your babies. And I will talk to you later. Okay.